In 2024, Shure introduced the Nexadyne 8C and 8S vocal mics, which are built around their Revonic transducer technology, and I guess it was only a matter of time before we'd see the Revonic transducer assembly make its way into instrument-specific mics. So today, we're going to check out the Nexadyne 2, Nexadyne 5, and Nexadyne 6 drum and instrument mics. I hope you enjoyed the demo, and if you did, let me know in the comments below and make sure to subscribe for more content like this. It makes sense that Shure kicked off the Nexadyne lineup with mics tailored to drums and guitar. Part of what makes the Revonic transducer technology so special has to do with the way the dual capsule system is implemented. One of the main benefits is the cancellation of vibration and handling noise in the acoustic domain, and obviously there's a huge application there for drum mics, which are only more frequently being mounted on drums in live sound situations. The other main benefit is frequency consistency in the polar pattern shape. Traditional single capsule designs with cardioid and supercardioid polar patterns don't actually live up to their polar pattern shape throughout the whole frequency spectrum. They might lean more omnidirectional at lower frequencies, or there may be certain frequencies where the cardioid pattern is wider. This is because the single capsule designs use vents around the diaphragm to modify the path sound waves must take, producing phase cancellation in the time domain. Now, obviously, not all frequencies have the same wavelength, so compromise is involved in designing this acoustical vent network, and thus directionality at certain frequencies is impacted. But with the Revonic design, Shure engineers discovered that tuning the phase cancellation relationship between the two capsules could make directional polar patterns more uniform across the frequency spectrum, resulting in a tighter pickup with less bleed, particularly in the low and low-mid frequency regions. The Nexadyne 2 is designed for kick drums and bass-specific applications. It's optimized to deliver a punchy kick sound right out of the box, with a larger voice coil than the other Nexadyne mics for a weightier low-end response. It also has an internal contour circuit for a mid-range scoop, so the idea is that this mic requires less overall EQ than something like a Beta 52, which tends to benefit from a boost in the 50 to 60 Hz range and cutting the mids somewhere between 450 and 600. Let's take a listen to the dry, isolated kick drum from our demo song, and then we'll take a listen to how the NXN2 performs on the bass amp. The Nexadyne 6 is designed for toms and comes with the A6D drum mount. Now, anytime you couple a mic to a drum, there is going to be some mechanical vibration that makes its way into the microphone. And if that vibration makes its way to the capsule, it'll introduce handling noise, which is going to be in the form of low-end rumble. Traditional single capsule designs typically utilize some sort of internal shock mount to cut down how much of this mechanical vibration affects the capsule, but it's not a foolproof system. Keeping in mind what I mentioned previously about Shure's Revonic transducer technology using phase relationships to control handling noise and polar pattern response in the acoustic domain, then the NXN6 can provide a cleaner signal that is less influenced by low-end rumble and has less cymbal bleed. Let's check this out with the dry, isolated tom tracks. Now you will have noticed how consistent across the frequency spectrum that off-axis bleed sounded, and that clearer signal definitely makes a difference in the full drum mix, which we'll take a listen to now. For overheads, I'm using a pair of KSM-44A large diaphragm condensers, and I'm using an SM-81 on the hi-hat. For snare top and bottom, I'm using an SM-57. The Nexadyne 5 features a side address design that can conveniently be draped over a guitar amp or a speaker cabinet, and of course it can still sit in a mic clip on a stand. The NXN5 is designed to be very transparent sounding, and consequently it doesn't have the same presence peak found in an SM57. Now if you are accustomed to the familiar sound of a 57, you might not like this, but personally, as someone who plays gigs where I'm almost always using a clean amp and relying on pedals to get a wide variety of guitar sounds, I like the idea of a mic that's going to more faithfully represent my sound, and which doesn't require having to compensate with EQ. I think this is especially relevant in a day and age where guitarists are relying on either pedals or a multi-effect unit, or even using a modeler for multi-effects in conjunction with an amp. So let's check out some isolated guitar sounds from our demo track recorded using the NXN5. The Nexadyne 2, Nexadyne 5, and Nexadyne 6 mics were announced at this year's NAMM show to coincide with Shure's 100th anniversary. Now, I've been thinking about all of the vintage-inspired product that I saw at the NAMM show this year, and don't get me wrong, I love vintage gear, and I love that the sound of sought-after vintage gear is now more accessible than ever. But I also think it's exciting and interesting when companies innovate and bring new technology to market, like Shure have done with their Revonic transducer system and porting that over to instrument mics. I mean, they are a 100-year-old company who could very well rest on their contributions to microphone design, yet they're choosing to take past innovations and examine how to build on them. But what do you think? Can you see yourself taking either the NXN2, NXN5, or NXN6, or all three of these mics for a spin? Let us know in the comments below. And until next time, this has been Andrew for the B&H Pro Audio channel, reminding you to always remember audio.